What is up, guys? Welcome to the Cavity Kingdom podcast. This is episode 3, kind of like episode 4, but we had a little technical difficulties with episode 3, so I'm working on that. We'll upload it later as a bonus segment or whatever, because the audio is terrible. I don't know why, but I will fix that. That's why episode 3 never came out, but it'll probably be a week or two. But anyways, this is the episode 3. We're going to be talking about E3. And if you guys would be so kind to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and slap that notification bell, and you'll be updated when I upload my next video or podcast. And you can also check us out on Google Podcasts, Spotify. I already forget the name of the other thing, Breaker. And you can just check out our Anchor page, which has all the links and everything. I'll put it in the description below so you guys can get all that. And Radio Public and Pocket Cast, which I started using recently. It's pretty good. But anyways, we are here with two friends of mine, Champ, and I'm going to say your full name, Adam. I mean, it's already there, so I'll just call you Adam.
Yeah, you just call me Big Swear is fine. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
I was about to call you A just because that was your logo when you first joined. We got A here.
Hey.
We got Will Smith. He's not looking so happy. I don't think he's too excited for E3.
Hey, I'm Will Smith, and
I was not happy with E3 this year. I
was not happy with E3. My wife cheated on me. I found out about it at E3.
So we got E3. I mean, got Will Smith, which was not happy about E3, and we have Champ. Well, since Adam doesn't really stream or anything, Champ, you want to plug some of your stuff? To introduce yourself and whatnot.
Sure, I'm Champ, variety streamer. You can always catch me on LOQ People's Champ on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm not a VTuber.
Not a real VTuber.
Not yet, anyway.
He's working on it. This is a trial run. But everything that he said will be linked in the description below, as well as my socials, which I'm really on Instagram now. I don't have a Twitter. Well, I do have a Twitter, but it's mostly just to follow like political stuff. I don't really post on there. But it's there. You can really find me on Instagram and my YouTube, and I'll link all that in the description below. And Adam doesn't have a YouTube.
I don't do any of that stuff.
He's doing that weird stuff.
I normally just pay attention to other people who do YouTube stuff. Yeah. And every now and then I will crash your streams.
That's true.
Because it's fun.
And we're going to do more of that too, because I will return to streaming on August 1st. And we'll be doing some stuff, and you'll probably see Champ on there, you'll probably see Adam on there, and we'll get a little crazy, get a little wild. And but until then, we're going to talk about E3. We're going to talk about the highs and the lows, what was good, what sucked. Spoiler alert, which you should already know everything anyway. We're going to be talking about it in its entirety. But the biggest flop, I think, Nintendo did not announce the new console, and that's what everybody was waiting for.
Yeah, they did not do that.
The rumors of a 4K upgraded kind of, Sony did it with PS4 Pro, and Xbox did it with their whatever it was called, Xbox One X, I think. And apparently they're going to do a PS5 Pro now. Everyone's doing the upgrades. That's how you.
Everyone's going pro.
Yeah, everyone's going pro.
You have to put pro after everything.
Or if you're Xbox, you just add another X to everything you do. Xbox X, Series X. But Nintendo, it was heavily rumored, and everyone thought that this was going to be it. Also, because it was rumored that they were going to reveal some sort of hardware. So everyone's like, The rumors just came out about a new console. They said they're going to show some kind of hardware off. I think this probably is the big announcement. And they did announce hardware, but this thing, I think is why people were mad, even though I already pre-ordered one, was the little Game & Watch Zelda thing. So it has like the original Zelda on it and Zelda 2, and it's an alarm clock in the palm of your hand. So not exactly PS4 or Switch Pro. But that's why a lot of people were crapping on Nintendo, because they were not happy with, it was hyped up and then they didn't live up to it.
Well, isn't that what Nintendo is notorious for? They just say, hey, we're going to do this cool thing. And like everybody's like, oh man, it's going to be the next system, and this system's going to be great. And then they're like, hey, here's the Wii U. And, and everybody's like, what the hell is this?
There's this Wii U where you have to be like right up on your console, or it's going to lose connection, and some cheap piece of plastic.
Makes you wonder if their vision of new thing is different than everyone else's.
Oh yeah, it definitely. Pretty much anytime it's rumored that they're going to announce something really cool, I just assume that they're going to do the opposite of that. So I'm usually not disappointed with Nintendo, just because I don't, I already set that bar. I'm like, yeah, they're
You're Japanese.
yeah. I'm like, they're not going to announce a new console, And even when they announce something cool, like for example, the anytime to do virtual consoles, as you know, I'm a retro streamer, so I'm always looking for that stuff. And they added Super Nintendo, they added the regular Nintendo, and there was rumors of Nintendo 64, and they just kind of stopped adding games to it completely. Just like, yeah, we're not adding it to it anymore. No Nintendo 64, no GameCube adding, but that's Nintendo. But they did announce some cool stuff, like I guess the number one thing listed here, which I think everyone's talking about now, is Metroid Dread. Which
Metroid Dread looks cool as hell.
It does
Mainly
That
because
looks exciting.
my thing is, I was the biggest fan of Metroid Fusion back in the day. That goes way
Fusion,
back.
that was
Oh
awesome.
my god! And it just reminds me so much of Metroid Fusion that I can't help but be excited for it.
Oh yeah, that's what I kind of thought it was when they were when they were showing it off. I'm like, is this going to be like a Fusion remake or a Fusion 2 or something like that? Because it kind of looked like that, at least the armor set.
Yeah, the armor set looks exactly like the Fusion armor. And I kind of thought the same thing. And then all of a sudden, like the giant robot like crawls down and you're like, oh, it's not the virus thing or the supercelled organism that you fight in Fusion.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be the focus of this, which makes sense because, in Fusion, spoiler alert, she destroys all of them. Like the lab gets spurned, she blows up the planet, and there shouldn't be any of those things left. So a little disappointed that it's not back to that, because I thought that game was phenomenal, because basically you go through the game and you absorb these creatures because for some reason her cells can absorb them, and you just get stronger that way by absorbing these creatures, and that's how you unlocked all your abilities and stuff. That's how you got your ball mode. That's how you got your bombs, your super, your super rockets, stuff like that. And I
did play that, but
like
I just never beat it.
Yeah, and I was hoping it would be a continuation of it. It might be, but it's obviously not going to focus on that stuff. It doesn't look like it has to deal with these machines and stuff, and it looks like she's constantly trying to run away from it, which does kind of go back to Metroid Fusion, because in Fusion, she was running away from her doppelganger, which was basically her suit of armor that got infected by that virus or the organism, and then the whole time throughout the game, you're being chased by it.
I do remember that,
yeah, and so it's kind of a throwback to that, except instead of Samus's armor, it's just this giant robot thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's as cool as Fusion was for me as a kid, and I'm excited to play it regardless. I think of all the downfalls of them not, having a system to show off, this definitely at least kind of redeemed it a bit, where they finally are like, all right, here's a Metroid game. Yeah. Can you stop begging us for Metroid games now?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people, for a quick second, I thought it was going to be Metroid Prime 4, because they didn't really say anything about that after that announcement. They just kind of showed the title screen, Metroid Prime 4, and that was it. A quick teaser. And then they haven't said anything since. And I guess maybe this is a way to kind of hold people over, because who knows when Metroid Prime 4 will actually come out.
Never. Maybe.
Yeah. That's what they're like, because that's all they get asked about. I was like, where's Metroid Prime 4? And they're like, all right, here's another game in the meantime. Stop asking us about that. So now this is kind of hold them over, and they can take their time with Metroid Prime 4. But I don't know. I don't really. I'm not like obsessed with the Metroid games, but I'm definitely. I'll probably buy it. It's good enough. At least it looks good enough to buy it to me.
Well, and I think that's probably their.
Sorry,
that's probably
the trailer.
Oh,
it was really loud.
Probably their biggest selling point right now is that Metroid game, because you can tell they put at least a little bit of work into the trailer to make it look interesting, and you can definitely tell that they were trying to kind of get the nostalgia of like the Fusion, and like since it's going back to the side scrolling now, because that's the thing that some people who wanted the Prime games maybe they might be disinterested in that, but I think that's a plus for me because I prefer like a good side-scrolling platforming type game like that, and that's what Metroid has always been to me.
Yeah.
So
that definitely goes for the OG fans, and I think that's what they're going
exactly.
And we'll get
so the Prime people might be a little. The Prime people might be a little upset, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you think, Champ? Weren't you saying you're not like? Are you not a huge Metroid fan, or
Never played Metroid before.
really?
Yeah, I only watched people play it, so I mean that was good enough for me. Never really dove into it myself. So seeing Metroid, it is a huge hype because it's been how long, and it does look really nice. It looks like they integrated quite a few combination of things, so I'm excited to see how it goes for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Same.
I would have to say my most hype would probably be Mario Golf.
Yo,
I started with Mario Golf and N64, and then when I got the PlayStation, I switched to Hot Shots Golf. Loved just playing golfing games like that. Just different.
Mario Golf for 64 was awesome. I don't care what anyone says. Even playing their the mini golf mode and everything, dude, I love that. I played the crap out of that game.
And I'm excited for this game because they got different kinds of modes, so you can like actually like do something with friends and viewers, and I think it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I think the what's it called? I think they're calling it like Rush Golf or something like that, where it's like it doesn't stop. You just hit the golf ball and you run after it.
Oh, yeah, speed mode.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That looks fun.
You just it's a real race, not just hit the golf ball. Okay, your turn. All right.
Yeah.
Read the wind.
Yeah, read the wind.
Get your position. Is this hit it and go? Hit it and chase it. Get it. Where is it? Chase it.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm more interested in and stuff like that than the actual golf. Although it is kind of cool they have a story mode in it, so it's something else to do if you're playing solo.
And they always have a story mode when it involves like something like that. Like even Mario Tennis had like, there's a story mode to it. It's like, well, most people are just going to like just beat the hell out of each other with rackets, and that's about it.
Yeah, see, I like the story modes personally, but
It'll get you a little engaged.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'll probably get the game golf. I was just about to say if it goes on a sale, but I forgot Nintendo doesn't do sales. So
no, they rarely do.
Yeah. Really? Are you sure?
They do sales. They do sales, but it's rare.
But guys, super crazy sale on the Mario games, and I check and it's like $2 off. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's a steal for Nintendo, so I'll buy it.
Yeah, their Mario Odyssey is still full price.
Yeah. Dude, they have games from like freaking like Wii U and stuff that are still full price.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because they know people are going to buy it, and they know suckers like me are going to buy it. I do it every time. I'm like, I'm not buying another Mario game, man. I'm going to wait till I can get it like on eBay or something, and end up pre-ordering it. And that's how they get me. Yeah. And they're focusing on people like me, like those suckers, like that TheCavityKing guy. He's going to buy our game.
He's definitely going to do it.
Yeah, he's going to buy
it. I can feel it.
Sales incoming.
Comes out in a couple of days too.
Wait, what does?
Mario Golf.
Oh, it does? That's
Ooh.
There you go. 25th, 2021.
Oh, wow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I did not realize
I might play that pretty soon.
Oh, snap.
You might see it on Friday.
Like, yeah, I can't blame you. I think it looks good. $60 is pricey for a sports game, but what are you gonna do? It's Nintendo.
Yeah, I feel like it has to have that variety to make it to make it worth when it comes to sports games.
Oh, yeah, if it was straight up just golf, like just regular old golf with Mario characters, definitely not worth. Touch it, but
totally not worth.
The super modes look cool though.
I'm a little skeptical on Mario Party Superstars.
Yo,
because I think they had with the recent one, which one is Mario Party? Yeah, Super Mario Party. They didn't have they just didn't have a good online play going on.
Yeah, they I think they just recently added online play, so you can do the game board. You can do the full-fledged game with your friends, but they just added it. I remember that was the biggest disappointment for me because my sister got it and stuff, who I don't see super often anymore.
Oh, it was huge.
And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Mario Party, it's got online. We can play the full thing, and then we go into it. And I'm like, what the hell? You can only play a few mini games, and that's it.
It's horrible.
See, that's one where you're going back to earlier saying how Nintendo always disappoints. They're always lacking on the online for some reason.
One thing I noticed that they like to throw out a game and see what people complain about, and then they'll improve on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, let's just see what happens,
Just see what happens, and they'll be like,
Which
"Oh,
seems like a
want
pretty
this."
bad strategy when you think about it. 'Cause, or maybe it works because there's just, I guess
They probably don't care
all
because we
press
were still
is
going to
good
buy it.
press in their minds. Yeah, all
Yeah.
press is good press. Even if people are bitching and complaining, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this game is terrible." Blah blah blah. blah. You
They still
can't do
get
this. You
attention.
can't do that.
Yeah, and people are
And
still
then all
going to
they
buy
do
it.
is they go, "By the way, we heard your complaints, guys, and we're going to release this game that fixes all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's going to have all of these bugs too along with it. So you guys can still complain."
Yeah. And they with Mario Party Superstars, it's not exactly the remake I was looking like. I was just looking for a full-fledged remake of the first 3 games because they were the best.
Oh,
And I've been saying that forever. So when I saw this, I'm like, all right, it's close enough. It's for anyone who doesn't know, it's like a greatest hits collection.
pretty much.
So they're adding like all their best mini games. The only thing during the trailer they said only 5 game boards. I hope that's like maybe just 5 to start, and you're going to lock them as you play the game, because 5 over the course of all their games is nothing.
Oh yeah, that's
that seems bad.
Yeah, well, that's what they did with Super Mario Party. They had have like 3 or 4 courses, and it gets old after a while. It's like, all right, you didn't add any more game boards.
They need to add a lot of like almost all board games, all game boards. Like you got to have that variety.
Yeah. I was saying they for all their games, really, for Mario Party, they should do it for Mario Kart too, is give it the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate treatment. Just have like one ultimate like Mario Party, one ultimate Mario Kart. You just add everything like they're doing with Smash Bros. Add all the characters, add all the game boards, all the maps, all the mini games, all under one thing.
That kind of feels like what Mario Party Superstars would be.
Yeah, it has the potential to be that. I don't know if they'll keep adding. Knowing Nintendo, they'll probably it'll be the standalone and that's it. But they could start adding DLC and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity to do so, but who knows? It's Nintendo. You never know what to expect when it's Nintendo. You really don't.
It really is a toss of the coin.
Yeah.
Like when it came to the oh my gosh, the Mario Party before this, I remember a lot of people just complain. Now, I've never been a big Mario Party fan. You know that about me.
Yeah.
But I heard so much disappointment from people who loved the Mario parties, and I'm just like, man, why would they just do that to their fans? And then I started to realize that, oh, it's just Nintendo's. It's like a weird love-hate relationship. They're like your like friend from like way back that you kind of like hang out with every now and then, and he just always disappoints you, but because you've just been friends so long, you just keep going back to him.
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
That's a scary analogy.
Yeah, and it's because for Mario Party, oh my god, what was it? 7, I think, was the last, or it might have been 8 was the last like normal Mario Party. Then they had a couple in a row where they were trying these weird things. They had a stupid car thing where everyone was in the same car and you don't have individual turns. You guys all just go together.
Oh, that's the one where
the map.
Bowser is chasing you, right?
Yeah, that was Mario Party 10 was the one we played when you came over that one time.
Yes, that was awful.
That was dumb. Remember I won in one turn?
Yes.
You won in one turn.
Yeah, I won in one turn, and it gave us some like special achievement or whatever. But I was playing as Bowser, and Adam was over and his wife, and my brothers were playing. And we played. I caught up to them as Bowser, and they versed me in a mini game. What the hell? Okay, Zoom just popped up and just said that 40 minutes.
Yeah, thank you for choosing Zoom. This meeting no longer has a time limit.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we removed the 40-minute time limit. Okay, thanks for telling me that randomly in our call. See, I told you there's a 40-minute thing there. It was making me nervous. I'm like, I don't like being timed. I feel rushed.
We gotta get through this.
We gotta hurry up. But yeah, I caught up to them as Bowser, and like in one swoop, I killed them all, and that was the end of the game.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, okay, that took us a total of 2 minutes. That was fun, Nintendo. But they did these weird ass things. Now, Super Mario Party, or I think that's what it's called for the Switch, they kind of went back to normal, but it's all dumbed down. Like instead of 10 coins, you get like 5. The star price and the items are all cut in half. The boards are smaller, so it was it's kind of like it was fine, but it was in a step in the right direction. So now I think
that could be kind of like what I was talking about. They just threw it out there and see what people like, see what they complain about, see what they want, and then they start okay, let's start putting in a couple of these things.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I mean, that's what it was. It was like compressed Mario Party. Everything was just smaller and shorter and all that. And even the dice only went up to 6 instead of 10. So it was like a number crunch. But I mean, it was still it was out of the stupid car thing. They did that car thing for a couple in a row where you all take the same turn. You all go together. It was really dumb. But yeah. So and also move on from Mario Party. Oh, I did mention Super Smash Bros. You guys play Smash Bros, right? I know at least you do, Champ, right?
I played, but I
64
suck at it.
Okay, so you guys don't really care about the announcement character with the Tekken guy.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I think
it was a funny little thing because he's throwing everybody into the pit.
Very dark.
Yeah. So it's Kirby, and Kirby just floats away.
Yeah, that was funny.
Kirby, yeah.
I don't think. To be honest, I'm one of those people that thinks that Smash Bros is just dying because all the people that are playing are like, oh, I just want to play, the Smash Bros that I remember. They want to go back to Melee. They want to go back to whatever their nostalgia, dream is of what Smash Bros should be.
Yeah.
And all I ever see from Smash Bros. Players is complaining about this, complaining about that.
They do, yeah, the complaining community.
And I was never a big fan of Smash Bros. Because of just the gameplay was just kind of. I mean, it's a very simplistic fighting game.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a bunch of people are like, oh no, you don't get it. You can wave dash and this and that, and you have 4 attacks. All right, it's not that overly complicated.
Yeah, it's easy to play, but it's hard to master type kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I get it. It's you have to master the spacing and this and that, and when you can knock someone out based on percentages. And it's okay, cool, you've convinced me, but all I ever hear is you guys complaining about how it's not fast enough, and you can't do this and that, and I can't do Fox only on whatever.
And they still don't add Geno to the game. We've been waiting for Geno, and they keep adding Fire Emblem characters. That's the only thing I was happy about. At least it wasn't a Fire Emblem character because they added 10 of them.
The Fire Emblem
they just added the entire cast. I'm like, all right, come on, guys. We had 20 already. And that was after he said, oh, I'm not going to add anyone from the same franchise. We're going to be new franchises from now on. And then the next announcement's Fire Emblem. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, Fire Emblem is one of those. Well, I think it's because it's just so freaking popular. Fire Emblem's just popular. So if you want to keep something like Smash Bros. Going, you should probably just add characters that are popular. Now, that doesn't mean just add freaking Goku to the game, like some people want, but add stuff that people are like, oh yeah, I remember. Let's put Kramen for the 50th time now because everybody loves that character.
Yeah,
and so I get that.
Adding a nostalgia factor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think they also made the right moves in adding some of these actual fighting characters like Ryu and the guy from Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good move. I don't know how it's going to play out for him because, to be honest, I don't even know what they use Smash Bros. Is there a tournament scene for it? I haven't followed it in forever.
Tournament scene is huge. Yeah, I mean,
there's a
no, but I mean, is it still as popular to use this version? Because I know there's a tournament scene for the older Smash Bros. Games.
There still is for Ultimate. I don't really follow the pro players too much. Especially when they all turned out to be pedophiles, but wasn't all of them. But we'll see. A good number of the community, a lot of people got caught. But I don't really follow the pro scene, anyways. But it does seem like Melee's more popular. If I go into older game shops and stuff, shopping for retro games, I'll always see people playing Melee, doing little tournaments and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think there's a place for Ultimate. I feel like Ultimate just became more so for the hype. People like the news around Ultimate rather than playing it because I haven't touched Ultimate forever, but I follow it closely to hear the new characters announced, new stages announced, and I always have opinions they should add this and they should add that, but I really haven't even played the game forever, so I mean, it's not it really matters.
Yeah, that's how I am too with it. It's oh, they're releasing this character when they had going back kind of the Metroid when the dragon, I can't remember his name now, The dragon from Metroid.
Oh, Riddler. Or Ridley.
Riddler. Yeah, Ridley.
It's going Batman.
Riddler. The
Riddler. It's like, wait a minute.
That would be a cool addition.
Yeah, that's what I had Batman characters.
Just add Batman.
But anyways, when they added Ridley, I was like, oh, that's freaking cool. And I played Ridley for like 4 times. And then I was like, all right, back to Jigglypuff. That's all I play. I just play Jigglypuff because I love Jigglypuff.
I mean, that's how I kind of do when they add a new character. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I want to try them out. And then I try them out for a couple of matches. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go back to the characters I'm familiar with, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Bowser. But yeah.
And it's cool when they do a lot of cross, like when they did Joker. Like that was an unexpected thing.
Yeah.
Nobody called Joker. Nobody.
No.
And it was cool to see, but again, it's same thing happened. I played Joker for like 5 games. It was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Got to use Arsene and freaking throw out, my balls of death and destruction. And then now I'm going back to Jigglypuff.
Yeah. And I think that's what they're really trying to shoot for now, like add these big franchises just to like make it look cool. Like, look, Tekken coming into our game. Then we got a Street Fighter, all these big franchises joining Nintendo. You got Square Enix with Cloud and stuff for all adding. Like, it looks cool to have all these big companies all joining in under one roof. So I think that's kind of like what they're doing right now. So I understand having Tekken. Yeah.
Just add Goku. put Goku in already.
Everyone's
we know that's where you're going. We know that's where you're going. Just put him in, get it over with.
Goku, and then they're going to get Naruto in there. And a little bit of My Hero Academia.
Just put them all in.
The circle's complete.
Put them all in, yeah.
Just put them all in.
I feel like they're never
Put Vegeta in. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. We need Gino. But yeah, I feel like he keeps adding to the DLCs. Like, this is the last fighter pack. We're not adding anymore. And then he's like, just kidding. We're going to add 4 more fighters.
I like money, so...
Plot twist, it's Krillin.
We're going to add some from the Dragon Ball Z series. And it's going to be great. Everybody's all excited. And here he is, Yamcha.
Yeah.
We'll just add everybody at that point. But yeah, I understand. I mean, I don't know. He said the next couple characters are going to be completely new franchises that haven't been in the game before. So I don't know. It's possible.
Okay.
Start reaching out.
That's what I mean. Like, just add Goku already. That's what everybody, like, whenever they do those polls, like, the most written in one is just Goku. So just do Goku and get it over with.
Yeah, get it over with.
He's never going to add what you actually want, though.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem character.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna add a character from the Dragon Ball Z series, but it's also going to just be a Fire Emblem character.
That was just easier in the end. I thought about it.
They look like characters from Dragon Ball Z.
They'll have
close
a
enough.
skin that looks like Goku.
Yeah, it's like what they did with Gino when they were hinting at adding him. They just added a freaking me costume of Gino.
Yes, they
you
did.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, that.
Yeah, whenever a me gets a skin of a character, that character's just not going to be added.
Yeah.
It's over.
And they added your profile picture. You can change it to a bunch of different characters, and one of them is Gino. So I'm like, all right. I feel like he's just taunting us at this point. Like, he's not going to add them. So I don't know. He could be, if he's going to either be the very last character he announces when he's like, all right, this is the last DLC character we're not adding anymore, or he's just not going to add him at all. I don't think we're going to see him any sooner than that.
Maybe he just doesn't like that character.
He probably does, and he's secretly like, I hate this stupid character.
I hate him so much. I just don't. I'm just gonna keep taunting them.
I don't like this character. Here, have a Halloween costume. Put on your Mew.
put it on your me. On your me fighter. Oh, and by the way, here's another Fire Emblem character.
I think he just kind of weighs the popularity. He's like, all right, Mario RPG wasn't like the biggest selling Mario game ever. I forget what the number was. I mean, it's still a lot. I mean, Nintendo's always going to sell a lot of copies, but it was like the ass end of Super Nintendo. It was like right almost when the 64 was coming out. So he's probably like, I'm not going to add that game. I need something more popular. So we get the costumes and we get the profile pictures. So I guess that's good enough.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
But another game, let's move on a little bit. They're bringing WarioWare back. Does anyone?
Yes, they are.
What?
I don't know what it's going to be. The last couple WarioWares were very. They keep
Bad
trying weird.
WarioWare.
It's like Mario Party. Like they had the first couple were excellent of WarioWare, and then they just started doing these weird ones like WarioWare Shake It Up and WarioWare whatever the other one was called, I forget, but for the Wii U. And they keep doing these really weird ones, and now they have WarioWare Get It Together. It's coming out fairly soon in September. But it has some kind of gimmick, some 2-player gimmick. So I don't know if it's going to end up being actual WarioWare or if it's going to be some kind of weird gimmicky one like they've been doing for the last couple. But I don't know. I really like the WarioWare series. I'm not really expecting much. I thought it looked a little weird.
Can't expect too much of the first integration of Switch.
No. But yeah, that pretty much sums up the Nintendo press conference. I mean, they showed more of Breath of the Wild 2, which is what everybody was waiting for. I'm not super hyped just because I haven't beaten the first one yet, so I feel like I got to get that over with.
And they didn't show too much. It just literally just showed like, oh, this is what we're doing. Breath of the Wild 2. We're actually playing in Breath of the Wild 1, but we're just fighting in the air. That's it.
Yeah, it's like it's in the air. So it's like what was that one called? Skyward Sword, which they're making a remake of or a remastered rather.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. It's like Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword.
Still intrigued to see what they have in store.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I don't know. I really get bored of. I know I'm probably in the minority here, but I really get bored of Zelda games after a while. Like I usually put.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on this.
Okay.
Because
I get
preach it.
I usually play a couple hours, and like it's always like really cool. You know, I play pretty much every single Zelda, but I've only beaten one, which is Skyward Sword, and people always flip out when I said that. They're like, that's the only one you've beaten out of all these. But I don't know. I really because that was like one of the first Wii games I ever played, so I was like fantasized with the whole like motion controllers and using the sword. I'm like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, and that's why Skyward Sword had mixed reviews because some people said no, the controllers didn't work, kept interrupting every time, and then there's people like me who said I thought it worked perfectly. So I know,
like, you're just doing it wrong.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong, you idiot.
You guys are just banned.
Yeah. But no, like Zelda every time I just feel like I know, like, being a retro gamer, it sounds crazy, but I've never been Ocarina of Time, and everyone always flips out when I say that on air. They're like, how you, a retro streamer, never played Ocarina of Time? Like, I played it plenty of times. I played the remake, the original, and they made that GameCube one for a while. I couldn't get it through it.
Didn't they make one for the 3DS too?
Yeah, that one was actually like
that was the
fully
one
remade.
I played, and
Full remake.
I got so bored. I'm with you on this one, just because I think Zelda in practice is a great game idea, but it just doesn't hook me in long enough. Like, I just get so bored going through some of the dungeons.
Yeah.
Like it just gets so boring for me where I'm like, I get it. This is like the 50th time I had to do this puzzle.
Yeah.
Can we shake it up a bit? Can we do something else?
Yeah.
And that's why when they announced the first Breath of the Wild, I was like, yeah, I just don't care. Like, I don't care that it's open, and I love open world games. Like, some of my favorite games are like Fallout, and that's all Fallout is an open world exploration type game.
Yeah.
Sure.
And even I was like, yeah, but I'm guessing these dungeons are going to be like every other Zelda dungeon. Yeah. So do I really care? Like, I can't speak for it because I have not played through Breath of the Wild, but at that point, after playing through like Ocarina of Time, getting like a couple of, I forget, I think I got like halfway through Ocarina of Time and I just got bored with it. I played there was another one that was for the 3DS that was like it was like kind of back to the original. It was like a 2D, like, you know, look down and you just like move around. I forget what that.
Yeah, was it the hybrid
Link Between Worlds? It was
Link
Between
it.
Worlds.
Yeah, Link Between Worlds.
And so that one, like, to be honest, I actually had more fun with that one than Ocarina of Time. But it actually was just me just going around just like cutting up enemies, and then I got bored.
Yeah.
And I think I also played through a bit of one of the GameCube ones, and again, I just got I played through the more cartoony one. Was one of them that I played through.
Oh, Wind Waker.
Just got bored. And so...
See, that one was more fun to me, maybe because it was so different compared to the other Zeldas, just the way it looked and stuff. And the reason I never finished it is because long story short, I made it to the very end of the game, and my memory card got corrupted, so I lost my file. And it was one of those like, I'm like, I don't want to do that all over again, so I'm just not going to play it. So.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's close enough.
I agree. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
It's a different looking game. It has a different feel to it, but again, it just was the same old Zelda. I don't know.
It's just like I usually don't say it too much, like when I'm streaming and stuff, because Zelda fans will eat you alive. But it does get repetitive, and you kind of do the same thing. You get your sword, you get your shield, you get the bow, and you start getting the items like as you go along, and it's just kind of the same thing over and over.
Yeah, this item gets you through this puzzle, and this item gets you through this level, and then this item unlocks this, and like I get it. There's a whole lot of appeal to that, and I understand why people like it. It just has never been for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is something that is definitely one of those unpopular opinions.
Yeah.
And it's not like when some people are like, unpopular opinion, bananas are good.
Yeah.
It's like people say yeah, that's not an unpopular opinion, bro. You just said something that at least 50% of people will agree with you on.
Yeah.
But I feel like not liking Zelda is definitely one of those no-go zones. Like, you don't like Zelda?
Yeah. What are you, some kind of weirdo?
We don't take kindly to your kind around these parts.
You think Zelda's boring?
What are you, some kind of idiot?
Go to Majora's Mask and tell me if it's boring.
Oh, I got to see Majora's Mask is the one I instantly gave up on because I don't like being timed when I play games.
Oh, is that the one with the moon crashing down?
Yeah. And you got
I stopped playing that.
I love it.
It's for I can totally understand the appeal. Like my brother absolutely loves the game. And he got the 3DS one and all that. And most of the people I talk to love the game, but I just don't like being. I feel like I'm rushed. I'm like I'm getting old. I'm getting slow. I mean, I take my time when I play the games, man.
I mean, you there's a song you can play to make the time a lot slower. You can totally have your time with it.
So I'm guessing you're a huge Zelda fan, like overall.
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Breath of the Wild. That's pretty much it. But
that's what you beat. Oh, so you beat and you play through Breath of the Wild completely.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you think?
I loved it. I enjoyed it.
So
it's very, very different. Yeah, I'm looking forward. That's why I say I was very interested in seeing what they do with Breath of the Wild 2. They're just like, it's the same thing, same area, but it's you can explore different areas. I'm like, okay.
Is this the first sequel they're doing? Have they ever done a Zelda sequel, like direct sequel like this?
Yeah, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh, those are direct sequels?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
I had no clue.
Yeah. I thought you totally didn't see. They only show different. They only show probably a total amount of 30 seconds of flashbacks and whatnot, and that's about it. But it is a sequel.
Well, I always thought the whole shtick with Zelda was each Zelda. Well, not each Zelda. Each Link is a different hero of time, and
there's always that timeline out there.
Yeah, there's they take place at different times. Each Ganon is a different Ganon, but it's
essentially
that's what I thought the whole shtick was. Okay, this is a different Princess Zelda. All right, it's not the same Princess Zelda from Wind Waker. This is a different one.
Different dimension.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's it's alternate universe, but Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think they wanted Majora's Mask to be the last of the franchise, but people keep wanting more, so then they started doing all these different versions and all that.
Yeah, and the unofficial timeline that's out there somewhere. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think the guessing the time, because people are obsessed with trying to guess the timeline and where everything adds up. I don't really think there is. I mean, it's not going to matter. They're never going to do any kind of crossover. I mean, they might. I don't know. But I mean, there's no signs of them doing a MCU type thing, which would be cool. I'd be interested in that. But
I feel like the timeline would be very far apart.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's what my understanding was it's thousands of years or whatever in between links. I don't know. I who knows how it's supposed to be? All right. I think what they actually should do, if they want to stir up the Zelda community and actually get them excited about something, and get people who are not into Zelda into it, they just got to go. They just got to go balls to the walls and just all of a sudden just say, all right, here's Zelda, but it's futuristic Zelda. Here you go.
Yeah.
And just throw it out
guns,
there.
you know.
Well, and that's the thing, like having like and I'm not saying going like full Cyberpunk 2077 on us, but like having something that's a more modern Zelda and just like really kind of like show that like the hero of time is the hero of time no matter what time period, to really just kind of like give us a different type of interactive game. That would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be cool. But
I don't think they'll ever do that
No.
because everybody is so hooked on, Link has to be this elf dude from the past.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
And he has to be
they'll
this.
be like the elves kind of thing, just in a modern era.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you can do that. I mean, I don't see what the big issue is. It's not like you have to have like, Zelda the anime, he goes to high school and stuff. No, you can still have Link, you can still have Zelda. It's just that instead of like a princess, it's, I don't know, she's a chairwoman or something, some high ranking official.
she's the president.
Yeah, president. It doesn't matter what
The president's daughter.
Yeah, the president's daughter.
And you're Link, some guy in a green hoodie.
Well, exactly. And that's what like, to me, I would actually probably play that more so than I would any of the other Zeldas, because I don't have that same nostalgic attachment to the Zelda series. I just don't have it. So
It really feels like a combination of Zelda and what's Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. But
This hacker,
yeah, Link's a hacker.
Start using
He's got
pistols
to
and all
hack
that.
into the mainframe. But I think that
That'd
would
be
be
cool.
something cool, and it would draw in more people rather than just the same old, same old. And I think that would also make the game. I'm not going to say I wouldn't get. You know what I'm going to say? I probably wouldn't get bored then, because it'd be so different from what Zelda, like my preconceived notion of what Zelda's supposed to be. I'd actually be interested in how they told this story from a modern perspective.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they did with Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty, it was always about like World War II games and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden Modern Warfare hit, and everybody was like, "Holy crap, this is sweet!"
Yeah, that's why it really took off and was super
Exactly.
popular. And then they went to space, and
then they went to space and went a little too far.
We went too far.
This is working. We'll keep going with this.
We're freaking in space now. We can't turn back.
It's like, guys, we have Halo for that.
Yeah.
Let's
Call of Duty, Halo. Yeah, there's together.
Speaking of Halo,
Call it Crescent.
Yeah. Speaking of Halo, they did show Halo
good
this year. Didn't
segue.
Yeah.
There's Halo Infinite. I thought, or did they just show the multiplayer? To be honest, I kind of
showed like a trailer.
That's right. Cortana is coming back apparently.
Yeah,
even
kind
though
of
she's
coming back.
Different
dead.
Cortana. But
What was that? Was that
Yeah.
Cortana in the trailer, or was that?
No, it was a different one.
But it was.
I thought it was supposed to be like Cortana. I see. I was confused at that.
So the AI is kind of like the same, but they're like, the names are different, right? So so Chief was supposed to go and erase her from that area, from that space, from that station.
Mm-hmm.
Like the AI was supposed to go in and overtake it, and Chief's supposed to like delete Cortana. So then Chief goes back there, and then the AI's like, "What are you doing here?" It's like, did you do what you're supposed to do? And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, then we have an issue." And then that was it. He grabs the AI, puts her in his head.
Right. So it's like so it's Cortana, but she doesn't have any of the memories or anything. Isn't that what it is?
It's like a totally different hard drive.
So it's not even Cortana at all. It's just
Not even Cortana.
Okay. That's what I was trying to I was trying to figure out where the fifth game ended. Spoiler alert. If you guys haven't played the Halos, I thought they screwed up the story big time in the Halo 5.
Yes. Yes, they did.
Halo, leading all the way up to Halo 4. Halo 4 was my favorite story-wise. They did such an excellent job with just having him and Cortana, like the relationship and all that.
I agree.
And if they just left it at that, it would have been fantastic. End of an era if they moved on from him and Cortana. But then they, spoiler alert, they bring her back in Halo 5, and she's like the
she's
villain.
corrupted.
Yeah, she's like corrupted, and she plays like as a villain, and you don't even play as Master Chief the entire time. You play some other dude who nobody knows.
Who's like hunting Master Chief.
Yeah, he's like hunting.
And it's really dumb. It's a bait and switch the whole time. You know that like Chief didn't go rogue, and it's all just a big misunderstanding, and someone's pulling the strings, and you find out that Cortana's pulling the strings, and it's just you knew it was never going to be like, oh man, you got to play as this dude who's going to hunt down Master Chief. Yeah, that really works out if you hunt down and try and kill the main guy. Oh, wait, Last of Us. Oh, look what happened. Oh,
yeah, that's what I was just saying. It was kind of like The Last of Us Part 2. They try to they make you play as other characters to try to throw some twists your way, and you don't think you see it coming, but you kind of see what they're doing, and maybe your guy that you were playing as that you think is the hero wasn't the hero the whole time. How about that? How about the other person the hero?
Let's subvert your expectations.
Like, no, the other person.
Congratulations, you're playing the killer.
Yep.
Whoa!
I don't even give me some.
You got us.
Yeah, we talked about Last of Us 2 a little bit the last time, and I hated it.
Oh, it was just dumb. Like it was not what it should have been, and I don't care how, because I heard some people were like, well, the gameplay is actually still pretty good. I'm like, okay, but if I have to play a game just for the gameplay when it's a story-driven game, I'm not going to play it if the story's bad. I don't care how good the gameplay is.
Yeah, and the gameplay is just fine. It's not like it's groundbreaking gameplay. It was definitely a lot sharper than the first one, and I didn't say this last time we were talking about it, but I will say the best part is the graphics. I think it's the best looking game that's out currently.
Oh, it's
the animation, the facial animations, and the emotion is just absolutely amazing.
This the one big issue.
Yeah, the biggest issue was honestly the pacing. I think it was my biggest problem. It was just all over the place.
Oh, definitely.
It kind of reminded me of I don't know if you guys played Beyond Two Souls with what's her face, Ellen Page or Elliot Page now, I guess.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. She was Ellen Page then, so I don't think I get in trouble for saying that. But anyways, she's in the game, and they have a story where like the story starts out like you play a mission where she's like older, and then the very next mission is like a flashback and she's younger, and then you play another mission and she's like a teenager. Like it's all over the place, the story, and I kind of see what they're trying to do to piece it all together, and that's kind of like what Last of Us Part 2 did. You're kind of going all over the place. You're you have flashbacks. The biggest twist of the first one was will Ellie ever find out that Joel lied to her? And that was the big thing everyone was waiting for. Like, will they find out the big lie? And here she already knew. They just show it in a quick flashback. Like, oh yeah, she already knew the whole time. Like the one thing we were waiting for the entire game. Yeah, she already knew it. Here's a quick flashback.
It was one of those things where they were so focused on trying to make this grandiose, like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to play as this character that you're gonna hate. That instead of like smoothing out and just making additions to the original game and explaining like where they are now and how things have progressed ever since he killed off all those scientists and stuff.
Yeah.
Instead, they made it about like, oh well, one of the scientist kids is this kid who wants to go and get revenge on him. So you have to play as this character now.
Yeah, and they try to make it look like Joel's just like horrible, like menace, like he just went in there and murdered all those scientists for no reason at all. And they don't. If you played the first one, if you guys remember, they don't even give Joel really a choice. They just say like, hey, yeah, we're gonna kill Ellie and get the cure out of her, like whether you like it or not. And,
it was just
so it wasn't like Joel was just like, boom, I'm just gonna shoot you guys and get her out of here.
Get away from her! And like, it's like, no, let us talk to you. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, they were just like,
let's explain. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, but they didn't give him a choice. Like, hey, we're gonna kill her because we need the cure, and we don't really care what you say. So that's why he went in there and he killed them. So it was justified, in my opinion. And then they, try to add a whole backstory to it and say, like, try to pull the whole like, you think you're the hero the whole time, but maybe you're not. Here's another angle. You never thought about it like that, have you? Like, isn't that how every villain's story starts out in like any movie or TV show? They always kind of humanize the villain a little bit. They have some kind of backstory, something tragic happened to them, and they start doing bad things. still the villain, even if you kind of sympathize with them in the beginning. That's what they tried to do with what's her name, Abby, right?
Abby,
bulky girl. And they're trying to say like, well, see, look, she's not. She went through some hard times and stuff. I'm like, yeah, like every other villain, she's still the bad guy in my opinion. Or playing somebody who done some horrible things and killed, spoiler, killed the main character. And I don't know,
the main character from the first game.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing. It's like you can't have one of the most beloved characters in probably gaming history. I can't think of a more just like beloved character from a series than Joel, just because like that whole like father-daughter relationship is so just because the whole thing is he's trying not to make the same mistake of the past. That's the whole thing with the first one. And then you're just like, oh, by the way, this time we're going to just kill off Joel in the most unceremonious way possible. And you have to play as the character that killed the character you love.
Yeah. Brilliant. You first started off as Abby. And you're like, oh, who's this person? They're like, okay, introducing a new character. That's interesting. And then that moment comes, like, I hate her.
Yeah, and then they were trying. To me, it just came off as they were trying too hard. Like it wasn't even like they did it smoothly to eventually get you to kind of like her. It was just like, please like this character. Like they were throwing out the most emotional stuff that has ever happened to a human being all in this character's backstory. Like, please like her. Look at all she's been through. And it's like, nah, sorry, nah. She took out our boy.
You can't do that. That's like a whole reverse, making her look that bad and then trying to make up for it.
Yeah, and I see what they're trying to do. It was like different. It was like a whole spin on the whole story. And my one friend pointed out that it was kind of like a whole breaking the cycle story because spoiler alert for the ending. We already spoiled the game anyway, so
yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
At the end of the game, they fight each other and then they get away and then they fight each other again, then they get away, and
she just lets her go.
She just lets her go. And everyone was like, oh, it's breaking the cycle. Like, all these post-apocalyptic stories, especially with zombies and stuff, it's like you get revenge and they get revenge on you and they get revenge on you. And this is like, she just decided, hey, no, I'm going to break the cycle. Well, I'm like, that was the whole point of the story. Like, we were all like so pissed off and angry about Joel, and the only thing we were holding on to, the only thing that kept me going till the end was like, at least I'll get revenge at the end, right? Like, she's
I'm
gonna
be able
boss,
to just like smash Abby's face into a rock.
Yeah, I'm like, and that'll be the end,
meat
right?
face.
Yeah, but then she lets her go, and the one of the worst parts, honestly, I thought was Joel's brother, because Ellie just leaves, and so now Joel's brother is gonna have like no clue where Ellie is. He's gonna have no clue what happened with Abby. He's gonna have no closure whatsoever about his own brother. And
right. And the thing is, though, like you were saying, they were trying to make this groundbreaking story, but we just said they did this in Halo.
Yeah,
they did this exact same thing in Halo, except in Halo, obviously, you don't kill Master Chief. Once you find Master Chief, there's like a scuffle and whatnot, and they figure out then that Cortana is the one that's actually like gone rogue and is doing bad stuff. It's not Master Chief. And so they have already done a story like this where you play as the character that is going after the beloved character, because everybody loves Master Chief. Everybody loves him.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, we're gonna subvert your expectations here, and you're gonna play as the bounty hunter-esque Spartan that's going to hunt down your favorite character and try to kill him.
Yeah, they try to.
Yep, I really want to do that. Yeah, I really want to do that.
It's like nobody wants to do this. We don't want to play as this character. We play Halo to play as Master Chief and with Cortana and all that. We don't want to play some no-name character that you just randomly introduce us to.
Which, to their credit, it looks like that's where Infinite is going. You're going to be a Master Chief again and just have fun with it. And I'm okay with that. I don't know what else they're going to do with Halo. I mean, holy crap. How many Halos are we finding nowadays? Holy
it feels a little bit like a redemption kind of story.
Yeah, because it seems like it seems almost like a reboot, Halo Infinite. kind of like a reboot, but obviously not because it's the same universe, same timeline, all that, same characters. But it kind of feels like that, like almost like a refresh start. Maybe that's why they're not naming it like Halo 6. It's Halo Infinite, kind of painting a different stroke to it. Like, hey, we're not going to like be directly a direct sequel to Halo 5. We're going to kind of, start fresh because that was so bad, so we're trying to do our own thing now.
We're trying to get away from that.
Yeah, we're trying to get away from that. That's what it seems like. Like at least I really can't tell where the story's going to be going from the trailer, which I guess is a good thing. But it kind of just seemed like a fresh take. Like he's, starting fresh AI. Kind of wants Cortana back because Cortana is going to eventually come back or in some kind of form. I feel like that's where the story's going to go.
Yeah.
Or at least in flashback form. There's going to be at least a couple flashbacks.
Well, the way it went out, because it's like, oh, where's Cortana? It's like, I thought you dealt with her. It's like, no, I didn't. And then they just kind of like, it looked like, it just had to feel like they're going to go out and look for Cortana.
Yeah. And
So like,
that's why I like the fourth one so much. Yeah. Because their whole relationship, kind of similar to Last of Us, was what pulled me into the game. That's why I thought it was the best story of Halo 4. It was just really good. It was emotional. It wasn't about some like big, huge, like big bad guy and huge armies. It was just about Master Chief and Cortana. And the fifth one just didn't have that same charm. And
didn't the fourth one have to deal with like the creators or whatever the heck that?
Yeah, they're like the creators,
robot.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a big bad. I mean, there wasn't. But
but it wasn't as emphasized.
Yeah.
It wasn't as emphasized as the what is it, the Covenant or whatever they call them, the aliens.
Yeah.
It wasn't like as like that with two huge army. It was all about a big battle. Like Halo 4 was just, there was stuff to kill, obviously, because you gotta have some gameplay, but it was really just about him and Cortana, like the whole story. It was more small scale than the other games, at least. But
well, if you're right about them kind of going back to their roots and this being a soft reboot, I think that's going to be sweet because the original Halo to me is still one of my favorite just shooters, just because like it's just was such a massive world at that time. Anyways, it was just cool to go through like all these every map was just so different and diverse from the next one to the next one to the next one. And then all of a sudden they throw you for a loop and it's like, oh, shoot, the Covenant isn't the worst thing to deal with. Now we have this flood to deal with.
Flood, that's it, yeah.
And like, it was such a good twist that you just were like, oh, man, now I really want to know what happens at the end.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of fight through now, not just the Covenant, but the Covenant and the flood, and you kind of like backtrack in a way, because I don't know if you notice this, you go back through like a bunch of the maps that you've already played through, like going on to the super carrier, except now the super carrier is infected with the flood.
It
was just such a good game to play through, and I hope they can they say you can't capture lightning in a bottle. I hope they do it with this one. I really do.
Bring it back to its charm, because it's definitely lost. Even though I loved Halo 4, it still felt a little bit different than the typical Halo. But I don't know. I think they get back to it. I think it's the best. This is the best thing to do for them. Like if they did Halo 6 like a direct sequel right after the fifth one, I think that would have been a bad idea. But
yeah, and trust me, right now Microsoft needs a win. They need a win right now.
Well, speaking of Microsoft, the segue again. I thought Xbox overall was pretty good. The one thing I liked about their conference is every game that they announced is day one on Game Pass. Because I have Game Pass now. I'm like fully invested. I just don't cancel my subscription now. But I thought it was pretty amazing that every game that they're announcing, all the new games coming out are day one on Game Pass. Which
that's pretty good.
Is a big deal, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this is Xbox. I always end up buying an Xbox, like each console generation, but it's my least used console out of all of them. Even the new one I have right now, and I've hardly played it, but that's why I'm excited about the Game Pass, because actually I'm going to have some things to play now and do, and not just wasting my money with Xbox.
I've been using mine quite a bit.
And Game Pass is great. It's a great service. They have a lot of stuff on there, and they're constantly swapping it out. And the best thing is now they're having all these exclusives and stuff finally, and they're all going to be day one on game. I mean, some of them are third party, but they're still going to be day one on Game Pass, which I think is really cool. And that's the best thing that, or not Nintendo, Xbox can do, because they don't have the first party exclusives like Sony and Nintendo. So now they're focusing just all on their streaming and all on their Game Pass, which I think is a smart move from them because they have to do something.
Right. Yes, I agree, because that's something that I think they have over PlayStation is their Game Pass, and all they need to do is put enough like good titles on there that are exclusive to them, and I think they can win over a majority of the market.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, Microsoft is also known for dropping the ball on certain. Like it looks good at the beginning, like, oh man, this is whatever, it's gonna be great, and then they just are like, oh, and by the way, we're gonna do this thing that nobody likes.
Yeah. But yeah, they I mean, it doesn't really matter what they do. I mean, I think they even made a comment like they could they're never pretty much going to lose any money no matter how good or bad their consoles do.
Right.
Which is, I mean, obviously they don't do this for the money, but I do like I think, oh my god, what's his name? Phil Spencer, the new guy that took over. I do like him a lot. So I do like Xbox. It's just I just tend to not use it as often as my other consoles just because they can't keep up with the first parties. Or first party exclusives, rather.
And I think it's weird too, because Xbox is I've always preferred the Xbox console over PlayStation. I actually am one of those people that likes the controller layout better than PlayStation's controller layout. And I think overall Xbox, it's like, besides that era when like everybody was complaining about like the red ring of death, and you know, they were kind of calling it the X Bone and all that stuff, and
console wars,
yeah, console wars. But,
PS4 rules.
Yeah, PS4 rules, Xbox rules. But
and then comes in the PC Master Race.
Yeah, PC Master Race.
That's the thing.
Oh, and that's another thing too that Xbox has going against is the fact that everything that you can do from a Microsoft standpoint, like you just can get a PC. And like, I get it, some people can't afford like the top end PC and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you can spice up your Xbox a little more for us. Like, come on.
But at least you get the Game Pass for both Xbox and PC. So it's
exactly. And I think that's another thing that you have to incentivize your people way more, because of the fact that they can literally spend an extra like $400 and get themselves a fairly well-built PC over your Xbox system. So I just feel like they need to do something more with it. I don't know what they can do. I'm not an expert on this, so I don't have the ideas, but that's the one thing that I always felt about Xbox was you have to have something for that console that just, like, for instance, PlayStation has a bunch of just like known games that you're like, I can only get this on PlayStation.
Yep. Gotta work.
And Xbox has that, but it's not as like, oh man, this is the groundbreaking game of, like, even something like Horizon for PlayStation was enough for me to be like, well, I guess I'm playing Horizon over whatever game came out at the same time for Xbox.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, now God of War is out. Guess I'm playing God of War over whatever came out for the Xbox.
And everything comes out for PC anyway for the Xbox. I mean, there's like, if you have a really good PC, I couldn't really recommend to get Xbox. I got, just because I'm a console collector. I like the physical editions. I like having consoles. Can't really explain. I do have a really good PC, but I still get the consoles. I personally still enjoy it, but I couldn't personally recommend it. Like, if someone had a really good PC and said, should I get an Xbox, I'd be like, there's really no
just
need.
stick with the PC. There's
no need.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think that's what they need to do. Like, they started integrating, like, for instance, I don't know if you know this, you can get like the Xbox Live like home bar for your PC, and you can like connect with your friends that are playing on Xbox.
Oh yeah,
I think that was like a nice thing to, like, because what I could do was there was a buddy of mine that was playing, I think it was like Call of Duty or something like that, and he was playing on his Xbox, and I could just, bring up this home bar, message him and say, hey, let's play together, and then you just connect directly to his game from that home bar, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is you need to do something with the Xbox console. Something, and again, I don't know exactly what it is, but they need to make it so that it's like, all right, look, maybe you can't afford a good PC right now, but you can afford this Xbox, and with this Xbox comes this, and this, and you can connect with your friends that are also playing on PC and then still enjoy the same experience that they're experiencing.
Yep, just connect everything, which I think is kind of seems like what they're going for, because every game you can play on the Xbox Series X, you could play on the previous one too, the Xbox One X and all that. And you can also play on PC, so it's like they're all kind of one hub. So like no matter which, it's like they're just making more options to play with friends. So even if your friend has an older Xbox, or maybe one of your friends only has a PC, they can all still play together. Which I think is what they need to shoot for, is cross-platform with everything.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Cross-platform is the future. It just is. You just need to be able to play with everybody.
Yeah. They should do more of it. I know, like Xbox, like a while ago, like poked at Sony, saying like, "Oh, we would add crossplay to more games, but it's up to Sony, and they won't do it and stuff." So who knows? Maybe Sony is being stuck up about it. I don't know, but they should just do like everything's connected under one thing, which they do for some games. They do for Apex. I think they do for Rocket League now, and a couple others. But I don't know. Xbox was good overall. Their conference. What else did they announce? Really nothing like I'm looking through the list right now. Like, even though I just said it's pretty cool, I do like how everything's gonna be day one Xbox. The Stalker.
I was about to say there's Stalker 2 is coming out. I never played Stalker 1, to be honest.
So many people talk about that game. Like, it did not. The only I can say is Stalker didn't age well, because I went back to play the Steam version. I couldn't get through it. I'm like, so many people recommend this game. They're saying it's a cult classic, man. You got to play it. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm like, maybe it was good for its time, but it did not age well. So I'm like,
well, and I think that's the thing with a lot of games that are cult classics. Like, for instance, have you ever played through the first Witcher?
Oh yeah, I beat the whole thing. It's
like the first Witcher does not age well, in my opinion.
They had one earlier. They had The Witcher, and then they made an enhanced version, which was a little bit better. But
the thing is, though, like for me, the gameplay is still it feels very stale, and I don't know. I just don't like. Yeah, I just don't like how it is. And then all of a sudden, you jump to Witcher 3, and you're like, "Holy crap! This came from that?
Yeah,
it's insane."
It came a long way.
Yeah, so maybe this Stalker game is going to have like the same thing. Like, it looks cool. Like the way that they did the trailer was kind of cool. Like they're all around the campfire and and like as the Stalker guy is telling stories, like it cuts to gameplay of him like shooting up stuff. And,
yeah, that was a cool trailer. I like the trailer.
Yeah, it was a really cool trailer. Like he's going through the it's not a minefield, but it's like a what did they call it? Like the zone or whatever, and like anomalies or like, you know, you have to avoid them, and they showed like that creature getting like burst apart by it. It looked cool.
It does look cool.
So, and then he's using little like nuts and stuff, like metal gears or whatever, and he's like flicking them out to like trigger the anomalies so he doesn't get hit by them. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool trailer overall, but yeah, like Xbox announced a lot of cool. They're very quick. Xbox, their conference, like here's this game day one on Xbox. Now here's this other game day one on Xbox, and obviously they announced their typical stuff like Forza Horizon 5, which I don't really play the Forza games. So
I love the Forza games. I'm a big Forza fan.
Are you really?
I love racing games.
I did not expect
I'm one of those ones that if you look at my Steam library, I have like Need for Speeds and stuff on there. My Xbox game, like the Xbox games that I always get are the Forza games. I'm not the biggest fan of Forza Horizons, just because like if I want to play a game where it's like open world and I'm like driving around having fun, I go to Need for Speed for that. Forza, I like the ones that are more like track oriented and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Horizons, but I got to admit, Horizon has come a long way and made it so that, like, I probably will choose that over Need for Speed a lot of times, because Need for Speed, I feel like they're losing the luster of what made Need for Speed.
Yeah,
like running
totally.
from the cops and stuff is they just make it. It just feels like they make it more and more boring every game. Like
Yeah.
It starts to
really
be a
care.
carbon copy.
yeah, and it's like I just want that same magic I had when I played Need for Speed Most Wanted back in the day on the 360.
Oh,
I just want that back. And I just want it, and they just never give it to you. And they're always like, "Oh man, you can play with your friends and build a crew and blah blah blah." It's like, shut up! I don't want to do that.
like,
I
Nobody
want
wants to do
Need for
that.
Speed Underground too. That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
That's
the
what I mean.
Undergrounds. Yeah, they were great.
Like they just are refusing to capture that luster and that magical feeling that you had, like when you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna build up this car and it's gonna do so well on this underground race, and we're gonna run from the cops with it too.
Yeah.
Really give you that nightlife racing.
Right. The one that I have been playing through and actually beat. Oh man, I forget what it. Need for Speed Rivals, or I forget which Need. Their names all freaking blend together. They're all. It's just Need for Speed. But the last one I did had a cop element to it, and
oh, my screen shut off.
and once again, it was a great experience, but it still just wasn't the same magic because like it just feels like they dumb down the cops every game, and it's like I remember one of the things that was just terrifying to hear from the original Most Wanted was like rhinos inbound, and there's just like a wave of these giant freaking trucks that just demolish your car, and they just like in the game that I'm referring to, that's not the same thing. It's like the rhinos come and they just like are so dumb they like miss you and just run into a house. And it's like it just doesn't feel the same. And I don't know. Again, they're trying to make the game, more special and different and unique from the others in the series. But sometimes all I want to do is I just want a Need for Speed, or I want that open world driving game where I can just go around, pick races I want to race in and run from the cops. And that's like the most enjoyable thing because I've been running from the cops for like 20 minutes now. And it's like, oh crap, I got to lose them because there's helicopters, there's spike strips, everything's going wrong. And I just need to find one spot to hide for like 30 seconds and I can lose them.
And then when you're done with that, you can just go for a drive. Relax.
Yeah, go for a drive, and then even though you're just like you got out of the 20-minute chase, and you're driving down, and you just see that cop car parked on the side of the road doing a speed trap. You're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna T-bone that dude."
Let's go round two.
Yeah, round two. Do it another 20-minute one. I just want that again, and I just feel like the Horizons and the Need for Speeds nowadays they don't capture that again. So it's hard for me to get excited about these new racing games when they just, I don't know, they're just too much about like interconnectivity. And I feel like I don't play a racing game so that I can get on with a bunch of my friends like I do with Call of Duty and play with them on it. Like I don't know anybody who does that. Do you know anybody who does that? Who just is like, oh, let's all get on and play Need for Speed tonight?
No, I played the multiplayer a few times on a Hot Pursuit, but that was really it.
And that's what I mean. Like, who's like, hey, let's go play Cops and Robbers or whatever. And I don't know. That's just not for me.
Yeah, well, that was really all Xbox had. Age of Empires 4 and a couple other games. But let's talk about the worst press conference, in my opinion, which was Capcom. Because they actually, Gearbox might have been worse. Let me talk about that real quick. Because Gearbox, all they really did was show behind the scenes to the Borderlands movie, which I didn't even realize they were making.
Yeah, that's all. I think that is all they did. I'm not sure of any other games that they were announcing.
They showed an expansion pack to that Godfall game, which I don't even know if anyone plays that. And
I know I don't.
There was a lot of just talking. There wasn't too much going on.
Yeah, and then they showed some spin-off game. Tiny Tina from Borderlands is getting her
Oh,
own game.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yeah, that's it.
That looks interesting though.
It does look interesting. But I don't.
Other than that, there wasn't much.
Yeah, it was like after like a couple minutes, I'm like, all right, is this really their whole press conference? They kind of walk around and have these really boring interviews with the movie people, and then that was
Funny because I'm like, okay, let me skip through and look and see where the trailers start, new games start coming out, and I think it was like an hour after.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a huge gap.
Yeah, it was a long press conference where they didn't show much, and that was really it. That's fine, I guess. I mean, I'll probably see the Borderlands movie, but I don't think we needed a whole press conference on that. And
No, I don't think so.
And then Capcom pretty much get that one over with because it was a long press conference, but all they showed was the Monster Hunter Rise, the Monster Hunter whatever it's called, the second one. It's kind of like an anime Monster Hunter.
Oh, stories.
It's stories.
Yeah, stories.
It's kind of like Pokemon, is what the
that's
stories
what it looked
is.
like. Yeah. But it was just them two, and what else did they show? Is Capcom? Is that Phoenix Wright, or am I thinking something else?
Capcom is Phoenix Wright.
Okay, yeah, and they showed some kind of Phoenix Wright game or whatever that was.
Yeah.
To it,
Right, yeah.
or something to it. But that's really all they showed, and it was like an hour and a half long. And I remember we were skipping through it like with the live feed because we watched it like a day after. I'm just like, is this really all they show? I'm like, my God. I'm like, that was one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen.
There was, there's only three that I jotted down that I was like interested in. But but all those are like just indie games from different places.
Yeah, there was a ton of indie games that I just didn't care about.
Yeah, there were some cool looking ones, but will I actually play it? Probably not. I mean, like there's some where I'm like, the art looks really cool in that game. The gameplay looks pretty fun, but I mean, who knows if I'll get around to any of them. But that's pretty much it for Capcom, for Gearbox. Oh my God, Mario Rabbids. Only because I just saw the trailer pop up here. That is.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that with Nintendo.
I forgot to mention that on with Nintendo.
I think threw that out like a day one.
Yeah, they they had a really awesome trailer. I'm almost done the first one. Probably like, I don't know, I guess 80% done the game. I think it's really awesome. It's like XCOM. If you guys ever played that, choose your moves, very tactical, but it's with Mario characters and the Rabbids.
Yeah, I have to dive into Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah, that was definitely the surprise game of when I forget when it came out, but everybody's like, wait, Mario and Rabbids. It was like the game no one asked for.
Yeah. And plus Nintendo doesn't let anyone
we're so glad they did it. Type of deal.
Yeah. It ended up like at first it seemed stupid. I'm like, that looks really dumb. Plus I think the Rabbids are really annoying.
Right.
So I'm just like, oh my God, that looks stupid. But I ended up giving it a shot and ended up being really fun, and it's that kind of quirky, silly humor Nintendo's known for, and ended up turning out good, so I'm excited for the sequel. It's weird that they never let any other companies use their like IP, so it's weird they let Ubisoft do that. But it turned out good, so obviously they're going to keep making more. That was the only thing we really missed from Nintendo, though.
Yeah,
and that was really it. They did have a PC show where they showed off a couple of games, but nothing really like.
Oh gosh, when they had that whole like space theme going on. Where they're like up in space with that AI computer and the Mech Warriors thing.
Was that during the PC conference?
I think, yeah.
Maybe I missed that one. I'm not, now that I'm thinking about
it. It was gone through like the whole like second half of it.
Or maybe I didn't watch the PC Gamer one
because it was horrible. It was just...
yeah, that was the only thing. So it was like kind of like E3, but not really, because they didn't have E3 last year. Then they did this kind of all digital stuff, like everything's doing all digital now. So it wasn't really like a real E3 where you have a stage, it's like a rock stage with people all in the audience, and you're bringing different people up, and
it just really felt like they're trying to fill a void that didn't really need filling.
Yeah,
because they're like getting into acting and all that, and sometimes there's just cringe.
Yeah, they definitely wasn't the cringiest E3. There's some pretty bad. There's a good compilation on YouTube, but
yeah, I mean, like it's fine. Like if they like do a theme and then like act a little bit here and there, but don't do it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. Usually, just they're not in sync with each other. Somebody messes up their lines, and it's really cringy. They usually say jokes where no one in the audience is laughing, and it's usually not great. But this E3 was different. It was all digital, and they kind of just got right to the trailers for the most part, which I'm fine with. I'd rather just straight up see the trailers.
And Sony wasn't there, right?
No,
they dropped out, right?
Yeah, they because I think last year there wasn't really an E3. Everyone kind of just did their own digital event thing, and it sounds like Sony's just going to keep doing their own thing. They're kind of worked out, so we're going to keep doing it. Which is a shame. I kind of miss back. I used to watch it way back with like G4 and like Adam Sessler and all that, and it would be like big three of Nintendo's press conference, Xbox, Sony, and then for the next couple of days until E3 ended, they would just kind of walk around the show floor, interviewing people, showing off these games that you might have missed originally. Like it was awesome. So it definitely died down a lot at E3, but it's fine. And apparently, Netflix was there, or they did some kind of announcement of all their video game shows coming out, which I didn't even realize. So they're doing they said they showed off the League of Legends Arcane. This will be the second animated series based on a MOBA game. Apparently Dota did one too. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch that. It looked dumb.
Then Cuphead's doing a series or getting an animated Netflix spinoff called the Cuphead Show.
I'd rather just play the second Cuphead, but okay, this one. Okay, go for it.
Castlevania said they will continue a new show featuring Richter Belmont, and blah 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 blah. Okay, so it looks like they're just bringing back a different Castlevania show.
The Castlevania on Netflix is good.
I only seen the first season. Is there more?
Yeah. There's more. I think there's 4 seasons in total.
Oh wow, I gotta get back to that then.
It's good.
And then they did apparently Splinter Cell is getting an animated series on Netflix. Just weird. I don't see that being an animated series, Splinter Cell, but
we'll see how that goes.
All right. And they also announced, I'm kind of just going through the Netflix shows right now. They announced what the hell is this? Oh, it's a Far Cry 3. Did you guys ever play the Dragon Blood DLC for Far Cry 3? It was like that 80s type vibe to it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't think I ever played it, though.
It was really awesome. It was really good DLC. But they're making some kind of spin-off animated series based off of that, which is kind of a weird choice, but all right. I mean, they are making a remake or something like that of Far Cry 3 Dragon Blood. So I guess maybe that's why to hype it up. And they showed the second season of The Witcher, which I've never seen the first season. Did you guys see that?
I did. First season was okay. If you can get in, there are some really good episodes in it, but it's really hard to follow because they don't. It's not that they did a bad job. It's that they didn't do enough of a job to explain what's happening with the story. Because it's one of those things where like they bounce back and forth from the future to the present to the past to explain the story. And it gets, because the characters don't change because, well, he's immortal basically, and he doesn't age and he doesn't look different. It's really hard to determine where you are in the story sometimes. And so it's like, wait a minute, is this in the present?
Yeah.
Is this in the past? Is this a future premonition? What's going on here?
Yeah, and kind of like what we were saying earlier with Beyond Two Souls.
Exactly, it's kind of like that, and because like the whole main shtick of the story is he's trying to find this girl who he accidentally has basically been promised to take care of and be whatever and all this other stuff. He's basically promised this girl because in the past he accidentally requested something of the queen of this town or of this empire. It's way too complicated to explain all at once. But basically he done fucked up and now he is basically bound to save this girl, and that's like his whole mission. But because of the way they tell the story where they're going, back to the past to the present, back to the past to the present, like it just feels like they should have just stuck in a lane and just had flashbacks.
Mhm.
That's just what they should have done, but they didn't.
I'll probably watch it eventually, I guess. I mean, especially if they're going to continue making seasons, but I'm just not like in a rush to binge watch it right now. But now Netflix is also doing another live action show, but it's Resident Evil.
What?
Yeah.
Not Resident Evil.
Yeah. It's going to be scary.
Probably not. Probably not.
Too much action.
Yeah. That pretty much seems like it. That is it for the Netflix Geeked Week. I don't know if that's the official name or what, but that's what's titled here. So yeah, League of Legends, Cuphead, Castlevania. There's a lot of animated shows coming to Netflix, trying to get the gamers involved with Netflix because it is dying. I don't know. I actually don't know if it's dying, but it's kind of weird after The Office. I don't know. I haven't used Netflix since The Office left, so I don't know. I don't think these video game shows are going to actually bring me back to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think it's worth it. Like, if you don't already have a Netflix, like, I don't think these titles are going to get you to get a Netflix. I, mean, I don't think so.
I don't really pay for it. I just mooch off my sister's account. So
yeah, I mooch off of my parents' account.
My parents mooch off of me.
Oh, well, man. See, and that's how Netflix works. Yeah, all right, you just mooch off of everybody.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it for E3. I mean, I think that was all the press conferences. I don't think
was Square Enix involved at all?
Oh my goodness, Square Enix. Yeah. So
I was about to say, I think we forgot the true flop of E3 was Square Enix.
They definitely weren't worse than Capcom and Gearbox, but
okay. But the thing is, though, can you really call them worse because they didn't do anything? Like Capcom and Gearbox didn't really show anything.
Yeah, sure.
But Square Enix showed stuff, and a lot of it was just crap that nobody wants. Like, they had the Marvel's
excited
event.
for the remastered Final Fantasies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah. Not really. No. I mean, to be honest, the remaster Final Fantasy, sure.
I feel like they've remastered these games a million times, and then they made the 3DS chibi versions of them or whatever.
Yep.
Remakes. They're just trying to figure out different ways. Like, look, guys, no one's playing the newer games. Just keep remaking the old ones a million times.
And they managed to also take the wind out of the sails of Final Fantasy 16. Like, everybody was kind of excited, and then they released the trailer, and that trailer was just like, we gotta stop chaos. Like, did you see the meme compilation of them just like, chaos is bad, chaos must be stopped? No, I did not see I will kill chaos.
What was that game called again?
The Final Fantasy 16.
All the chaos.
Isn't that the?
The one that has all the chaos? That's Chris's favorite game. The one with all the Disney characters. But no, that's Darkness.
Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts has darkness, not chaos.
Yeah, that's
Final Fantasy 16 is using chaos instead of darkness.
Yeah.
Same thing, well, same premise, but, you know.
Don't you be hating on Kingdom Hearts, man.
It's the best game ever.
I'll beat you out with my Keyblade.
But yeah, then they also like the Square Enix thing because, you know, they just so happen to also produce like the Marvel Avengers thing, which is an awful game.
Yeah, I bought it, but I only played a few hours, and I kind of
because it's terrible.
Yeah,
like they're like, oh yeah, here's Marvel Avengers. It's like, yeah, we really want to play that. Thanks, Square Enix. You are the best.
Now, I will say the Guardians of the Galaxy game looks more interesting to me than the Avengers one does because I kind of like how I'm kind of obsessed with Guardians of the Galaxy, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I do like how they kind of have like a telltale type angle to it where you can like choose your words and choose your relationships and all that, but it's also an action oriented game as well. So I like the concept of it. I think it looks cool, but I'm not like, it's not like, I was just like, holy crap, Guardians of the Galaxy, man. This is a day one purchase, but it was like,
we're going to get it.
Yeah. It was like, it's cool. I mean, I might eventually get it. Maybe not full price, but
Strangers of Paradise. That's what it's called.
Stranger's Paradise.
Stranger of Paradise. The one with the chaos.
Oh, that's not Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, was that not 16?
Nope.
Which one was the chaos one then? that they
Stranger of Paradise. That's what the game's called.
Oh, okay, all right.
Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Oh, so it's an origin story of.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's still Final Fantasy though, right?
Yeah.
Still Final Fantasy. But
Okay, but it wasn't 16. Okay,
you're
that's
halfway
where I
there.
got
You're halfway
confused
there.
then.
Yeah.
But I was like, I could have sworn that was a Final Fantasy trailer.
It totally looks like it.
Yes. Oh, I was just about to ask, is that a remake? So it is. It's a retelling of Final Fantasy 1 with Souls-like action combat. So it's maybe they're kind of doing what they did with Final Fantasy 7, like
with the
remake, kind of give
open
their own
combat.
spin on it. Yeah.
We'll
So
see.
they're doing this.
Oh, okay, all right, I'm seeing it now. Yeah, okay. I was assuming that was Final Fantasy 16. See, that's the thing. All their stuff is just so confusing because it all looks similar, and I just have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even I really know much about Final Fantasy 16. Then they showed like a quick when they did a collage at the end. Like, thanks for watching the Square Enix showcase. They showed like a quick clip of Final Fantasy 16, but they didn't really talk about it.
Yes. Okay. So they did show off Final Fantasy. That's where I got confused. But it was very brief.
Yeah.
Which is probably for the better.
Yeah, I don't really I mean, knowing me, I'll probably end up getting it, but I'm not as excited. Like when they announced Final Fantasy 14 or not 14, 15 is the one with all the guys, right?
15.
Yes, 15 was the one where they should have just made it all about that and just kind of just went with the bro theme where they just travel around as bros, but instead they were like, oh no, we got to do the typical Final Fantasy thing where
crystals.
we just have to make like this weird time skip and do this and overly complicated storyline plot holes and all that because we're Square Enix and we got to do that. It's like, dude, just let me go around and fight monsters and demons and stuff. Like that would have been actually cool.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but it was still. I still had fun with it. Like I still enjoyed playing.
Yeah, I played the hell out of it. It was just the fact that the story was so bad at like they're just like, all right, and you're at the end of the story, time to streamline everything, and you have one path you can go on, even though the whole game was supposed to be this like open world exploration style thing.
Yeah.
Now at the end you have one path.
Yeah.
That's all you can go. You can't go on and explore the city. Nope, can't do that. Gotta go straight to the end now.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah, it was a kind of a not great ending, but I don't know. I mean, so Square Enix had some cool stuff. The Pixel Remaster Collection. I don't know. I mean, it's really, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you probably enjoyed it. If you're not, then they didn't show anything good at all.
Dude, you're forgetting Life is Strange True Colors.
Oh! I forgot about True Colors.
Wow. That reaction says it all.
Everybody knows Life is Strange is their true master. God, I hate that game.
I got up to episode 3, I think, and I remember when I was playing it, I was telling my brother, I'm like, this game was written by like a bunch of millennials on Tumblr. That's how I felt like the dialogue was. Like,
It was all bad.
Using like it's a dialogue and just the overall was just the most annoying part of it.
It just felt cliched. Like it just it's something you would totally see in a high school movie.
Yeah.
So every plot twist that you think is going to happen happens.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. It just happens.
Yeah, and the overall graphics and animation were horrible. The remaster doesn't look really any better. So
no, it doesn't. I was like, wait, is this is the same game? This is the same thing.
Yeah, when they were showing the comparison, like side by, they do that sweeping motion to show you the new graphics. I'm like, it looks the same.
They changed the contrast. That's what it was.
Yeah, I'm like, it's slightly brighter than the first one. You know?
Dude, you can experience the emotions better, brah. All right, that's what it is.
Yeah, I saw someone comment on the remaster.
True Colors.
Yeah. They're like, guys, they're like, pretty much the remastered is they added an extra light bulb. I'm like, yeah, that's fair because it's really just a little bit brighter, the remastered. But True Colors is a completely different game, and that really doesn't look any better. So I'm probably not going to play that either.
Yes, I don't think they're going to add anything to the series that makes it that dynamic. Like it's still one of those like choose an option that doesn't affect the end game of the story at all.
But I was just, it was
Yeah.
the main thing I was complaining about the whole time. This is when I was streaming before I was the Cavity King. Like I don't even know what my username was back then, but I was randomly stream story games sometimes, and I was playing through this, and the whole time I'm just complaining about the dialogue. I'm just like, I've never been annoyed by dialogue before, like this bad in a game. Like just the way it was written and the way they talk and stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, who wrote this game? A bunch of high schoolers or something? Or, like it was bad. I couldn't do it.
and like none of the characters were likable
No.
at all.
No.
Like the character you play as, she's just so whiny.
Yeah, she's the most
Just hate
boring
her.
person.
I just hate her so much. And then her friend, who's like the edgy, like, ugh, I'm just breaking all the rules. Like, yeah, you're
F the government, bro.
Yeah, you are so one note and predictable. It's not even funny.
Let's smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, we're so
The
cool.
coughing was unintentional. Yeah.
And that's what I feel True Colors is going to be. It's just going to be this one note character, and you're going to make decisions throughout that they say, oh, it's going to affect the end game.
It's going to
And it
affect your
doesn't.
relationships with everybody around you.
Yeah, and it never does. It never affects the end game enough. Like it just.
And you just
I just hate
rewind and
games
made a bad
like that.
choice. So
It has to change the ending. Like it that's going to make it so much better.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
of
know.
course.
I mean, I feel like I need to beat Life is Strange just so I can give a full opinion on it, but it's going to be rough. One of these streams, maybe I'll force myself to go through it, but
I'll do it one
yeah,
day.
I'll do it for you guys. But yeah, that was pretty much it for Square Enix. And they showed what was it called? The Babylon. I was about to say Babylon B.
Babylon Fall or something.
Fall.
Oh yeah,
Which is
Babylon.
like near Automata, but it's monsters instead of robots. So
Right.
essentially
Pretty
what
much.
it is, yeah. But that looks interesting. I mean, like I feel like most of the things I've seen at E3 this year were just like, I'm like, it looks interesting, but there's nothing where I'm just like, holy crap, I can't believe they're announcing this,
Dying Light 2.
Yo, Dynamite.
Yeah, watch
2.
out. Or
I mean, that does look cool. I'm probably gonna play it, but
Yeah.
we totally
it's-
expected Dying Light
long
2
way
though.
but we already know it's they've been talking about it for years. So, and did they give a release date to that? Dying Light 2?
Yeah. What was it? December 7th, 2021.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, very end of the year. Wow. Yo, and we forgot about the Pirates of the Caribbean spin-off of Sea of Thieves or whatever it is.
Oh
that-
yeah. That's right. That was part of X. Was that Xbox's?
Yeah, that was Xbox.
And to be honest, I actually want to talk about real quick. This kind of ties into. So I was going to ask you guys like, which game are you actually excited to see? Like, what game are you like? Oh man, this is the game I actually want to see come to fruition. Contraband looks like. It looks like it has a lot of potential because it's one of those things where like the trailer is just like it shows like their plan of like this is how we're going to steal this thing, and then it's just a bunch of like pictures and it just that's all it is. But after reading what it's about, where you're like a smuggler and stuff like that, I'm really excited for this game just because I want to actually play something that's just different from what.
Different.
Yeah, it just feels different, and it could be totally wrong. The game comes out and it's like every other game that's open world and co-op,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping it's not.
So that's your probably most excited for out of everything.
Yes,
else.
and that's just because mainly Bethesda sometimes does that, where they're just like, oh, here's this game that we're only going to show a little bit of, and then it turns out like it's really bad. But they are good at like making you go, that looks like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I get that. That's fair. What about you, Champ? What was your favorite of the year or E3?
Slime Rancher 2.
Yo,
Slime Rancher. Yeah.
I love Slime Rancher.
For some reason,
When
I
I saw
kind of
Slime
knew
Rancher
you were going to
2,
say that.
I was hyped.
See,
I was hyped.
I can't really judge that game because I played the first one for like 10 seconds. I'm like, I don't feel like playing this right now. So
I got some slimes to breed, I think,
Yeah.
and that was about it. That's all I did.
dude, that game is super popular though. Like I know a lot of people who absolutely
it's
love
very
that
chill.
game. Yeah.
It
It's
does
good
have
for
a
a chill
story
game.
too, which surprised me.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
There's
mean,
a
like,
story to that game.
Yeah.
it's one of those games that I think does look really fun, but I just there's so many crafting and like farming games
Yeah,
out there. Like
it's
you
a
can't play them.
Minecraft game.
You can't play them all, and they're very time consuming. So I mean, like, that's why I don't really get into those games. 'Cause I'm like, well, I only have
Mhm.
like a little bit of time each night, so I'm like, if I do play a game like that, that's all I can play. I can't touch anything else for a long time. So
Slime Rancher is a little bit like it's pretty slow. Like it's pretty chill. But once you start getting like more slimes and everything, it starts to be a time cruncher. Like you get up in the morning, like, hey, you have to do this, got to do that, get this done, that done, and then once that's done, I got free time. It's like my work's done. I can go out and explore.
yeah, I do like the concept of those type games.
Yeah.
But mine was Mario Party. Nah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I'm totally drawing a blank.
There's quite a few. That's just it's hard to choose one really for me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I am really excited about Mario Party. That's probably like in my top 5 for E3.
There's Outer Worlds 2.
What is
Yeah,
it?
there is.
Outer Worlds 2? You haven't
No, I don't know that.
don't
You
know
never played Outer Worlds?
Oh, Outer Worlds. I thought you said Auto Worlds.
No,
Outer Worlds.
I never played that, but that does look really cool. So many people tell me they recommend it to me.
I recommend it. It has that old feel of New Vegas, but better.
Yes, yeah, I agree. It's like a Fallout in space is what I describe it as.
It was Obsidian, and they just stuck to what they knew.
Yeah, I'll probably play it at some point. Yeah, I have so many games on my list. I'm like slow because 2020 I really didn't do like anything at all. So like I'm kind of slowly getting back to gaming now, and so it's on my list along with many other ones.
How about Avatar?
That was a weird announcement.
That was weird.
I did not like. I'm like, what am I? I'm like, are they making a game?
They didn't show. It was the trailer was confusing. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, wasn't it just? It was just a cinematic trailer, right? They didn't show any gameplay.
A little bit, yeah. Mostly cinematic gameplay.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like they want you to believe this is how the gameplay looks, but it's not. It's just they just doctored it up.
I don't know. I think Avatar was one of the most overrated movies ever made. I don't know why everyone was going so crazy over it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone's like, it's like this is the best thing ever created. There's no close second. It's the best movie. I'm like, why?
It's not the best, but
it's Pocahontas in space. Come on.
Nice.
That's pretty much what it was. But it was just like after I saw it, like I liked it, and like back then, seeing like it was very impressive visuals and all that. But and it was fine.
I did enjoy the game though.
The what?
The Avatar's game.
Was that
PS3?
You know what? I never actually played that.
No? It's pretty simple.
I never played that, no.
Very simple, but I played the heck out of it. It was actually fun.
Oh, well, it's another ad in my list because I've been buying stuff on eBay lately. So
I feel like we all from our childhood have like a movie game or a like a series game that we've played and like we're like, hey, yeah, I played and we just think like, oh yeah, everybody has played it.
And they're like, what?
Like, we're the only ones that enjoyed like or went out of our way to get it. Like, guys, what? You never played the Avatar game? Come on now.
Come on, it
was super good.
Avatar. It was Avatar.
I just found out they had a Saw game. You know, like the movies, like Saw, like the horror game. I didn't know there was a game to it. I actually just bought it. I have it now. I got it off of eBay.
Oh my
friend was talking about it. I'm like, that's a game. I'm like, I gotta look this up, and it was cheap enough.
Die?
He claims it's really good. He said like the story's really interesting because it does take place. It takes place in between the I think it's the first and second movie, and he says it's pretty much like a puzzle game, trying to figure out puzzles. I guess how to get out of the traps and stuff. And it ends up being a pretty decent game. So
okay.
I don't know. But yeah, there's these weird games that pop up that I don't know, but
that's about it for me. Like Jurassic World Evolution 2, that's probably it. Everything else is just
they're coming out with another park builder.
They're adding like flying and sea dinos, different game modes, features.
Oh, things they should have added to the first one, but
exactly. Yeah. But I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Pretty much like
other ones just like indies and stuff.
Mario and Rabbids. I'm probably gonna get Mario Party. I'm gonna get.
Yo, I'm just upset. They didn't announce Mega Man Legends 3 yet.
Oh man, what's wrong with them?
See, that's my avatar game. Like, I'll mention Mega Man Legends, and people are like, "Wait, what? Is that like one that it's that after X?" I'm like, no, it's the one where it's like you go down into like a cave and you're like
open world, you know.
And people are like, no, I never played that one. Does it actually exist? Are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm telling you, it happened. I played it.
There's like cult classic games, you know.
You'll get that one person. You mean Bomberman, right? That's what.
Yeah. Yes. I'm like, look, I did not spend hours trying to unlock the plasma sword for you to make fun of Mega Man Legends.
Not to just randomly change it, but I just scrolled over it right now. Bound for Blood. As you know, I'm a little biased because Left 4 Dead 2 is one of my favorite games ever.
Back for Blood.
And
yeah,
is it Back for Blood or Bound for Blood?
It's back. I think it's Back for Blood.
Okay, and it's pretty much exactly like Left 4 Dead 2. I mean, even a lot of the skins and stuff look similar. The safe room looks exactly like Left 4 Dead, and they kind of said it's like a spiritual successor to it. And it's the same creators, so they're probably like, look, Valve doesn't let us make sequels anymore. They don't want to count past 2, so we're just going to make this other game that's totally not Left 4 Dead, but it is Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
without actually being Left 4 Dead, you know. So
they are afraid of the number 3.
They are.
Valve is afraid of it.
Yep, they just will. And then they're like, Valve's like, we're going to be making games again. I'm like, sweet. And then they're like, we're going to be making this card game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Nobody wants another card game, all right? We got a million of them.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Can't keep up.
Yeah, well, it's all thanks to Hearthstone. Hearthstone was like, hey, how can we capture the appeal of like Magic the Gathering and a bunch of these other like tabletop games, and also like their IP, because they used to have a World of Warcraft card game that actually a lot of people love that game, and then they just destroyed it. But they wanted to capture that magic again. And they were just like, oh, here's Hearthstone. You just played on your, originally it was for computer. And it's like, oh, you could just play it on your phone, this and that. And then
popped up.
Everybody was like, well, we all just got to copy that because it was so popular. So there's like a million of them that just came out that just had to deal with every little thing. Heck, Capcom had one. It's called like Pepin or something like that. You guys have probably never heard of it.
No.
They had their own card game too.
Lord of the Rings has one now, apparently.
Yep, so. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Capcom who?
Capcom?
What? And, speaking of Blizzard, talking about Hearthstone, Diablo 2 remake. I don't know.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep, we didn't talk about Blizzard.
Resurrected or whatever.
That's pretty much all they said. I mean,
it looks good.
Yeah, I'll probably play. I only played the third one, I guess it was. And that was really it. And that was a lot of fun. I played that co-op with my cousin and a friend.
Come on. They're going to mess it up like they did with World of Warcraft. Warcraft 3 remastered.
That was sad.
Man.
They're going to mess it up.
So excited.
I can't believe they butchered that so bad.
Yeah,
well, I can. I called it. Everybody else was like, nah. I was like, come on.
I'm like,
did you see the model? The model for Uther is the same model from Heroes of the Storm. I was like, they didn't put any time or effort into this. It's going to be terrible. Everyone's like, nah.
Didn't they just they didn't redo the cutscenes like they said they were going to do, and they didn't redo like a lot of stuff. They kind of just got lazy with it.
Exactly. And I called it from the beginning, and everybody thought I was crazy. I was like, I'm telling you, that Uther model is the same one from Heroes of the Storm. They didn't put any time or effort into this. This is not a remaster. This is I wonder if we can have people pay for this shitty, quote unquote remaster and make a fuck ton of money off of it. That's all it was.
Yeah, and I pre-ordered it, and they suckered me in with the WoW mount. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy this anyway. I might as well pre-order it and get that mount, man. That's sweet.
Get a mount.
Yeah. And then all the controversy came out about it. I'm like, I want a refund.
And then did they give refunds then?
Yeah,
or
they
no?
did. They did.
Yeah,
I got
they
one.
started.
I think at first there was something weird, like they weren't doing them refunds at first or something weird like that.
Yeah, because I think that's where the controversy started was they were not going to do it, and then enough people bitched and complained, and then they were like, "Oh, we should probably do refunds, or this is going to be really bad for us."
Yeah, they did.
And there was a user remaking Warcraft 3, and it looked really good. He's a single guy doing it, so he's kind of slowly updating the trailers. But I think they made him cancel it or whatever.
Yes, they hit him with the old copyright strike, and he had to stop.
Look, yours looks a lot better than ours, and we don't want you to outdo us. So cancel your awesome looking version. Here's our shitty one. Yeah.
With the freaking character models that we borrowed from other games.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. But that's not really that's whatever, Blizzard. But that's pretty much it. You could be here all day announcing all the side games and whatnot, but
yeah.
Overall, E3 was fine. It wasn't anything exciting. I mean, a couple of cool things, but I don't know. Overall,
and don't make it 8 hours. Holy smoke!
Yeah, there's just a lot of people like I was saying, Gearbox and Capcom. They had like 2-hour-long press conferences, but they didn't do anything or say anything. So there's a lot of empty space. And
then they had like stuff on day 1, and then day 2 they showed it again. Like, come on, we saw it already. Can you?
Yeah, but they're redoing it because like Square Enix showed off the Marvel game. What the hell is it called? Guardians of the Galaxy. And then Nintendo showed their own trailer for it, and then I think Xbox or somebody else talked about it too. So it's like, well, we want to talk about our version, so they kind of talk about the same game, and it's definitely not like what E3 used to be. I don't know if they'll ever go back to normal. They probably save so much money not renting a stadium out and all that. So
and unfortunately, that is the thing that has been happening with a lot of stuff. This pandemic has caused a lot of companies to go, hey, we can make the same amount of money by doing less.
Yeah, make more too.
We should just keep doing that. And to be honest, it has transferred to not just because, as you know, the people who listen to your podcast probably don't know, I play card games competitively, and they're normally like the smaller games, like for Wizards of the Coast, they did Transformers, and I played that, and that was a ton of fun going to like these big stadium, well, not stadiums, but convention halls, and having a ton of fun. Like there's like 500 people at this selective tournament, and
you have people standing there watching.
You just are like, you're just super involved in it. And I can only imagine what it would be like for Wizards' bigger game, which is Magic, where the numbers are doubled and or tripled. So it's one of those things where it was so cool, but then pandemic hit, and all of a sudden they found out that they still were making money because they had at the time Magic Arena, which is the online, like it's Magic, but you play on your computer. And they were still making money there, still making money off of physical cards. And they were like, we don't even really have to do tournaments because we can just throw on like a crappy tournament on Magic Arena and still stream it and pretend like we care when we don't. And then there were other like smaller games, like the one that I'm playing, Digimon has a new card game out. And instead of them having a convention hall book for it, they just did something called cam games, where you literally got on like Skype or Zoom like we're doing right now, and just like film your board. And you always have to have like your hand present. I never did any of this because I thought it was bull. And I was like, it's way too easy to cheat.
Yeah.
But they started doing that, and all of a sudden now things are lightening up, and they're like, wait, well, we don't have to do conventions anymore. We still made the same amount of money. So do we have to do this? And then all of a sudden Magic announced that they're cutting the prize pool for their next championship for Magic by $750,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And they originally promised that it was going to be an over $1 million prize pool, which was going to be like the biggest Magic has ever done. And then they're all of a sudden like, well, we made the same amount of money, and I think we're just going to keep that $750,000 in our pocket and say, screw you guys, because who cares about the pro scene? I mean, we're still making a bunch of money from just casual players on Magic Arena.
Yeah.
This ain't Dota 2, I'll tell you that much.
Which is basically what is translating to what's happening with E3 and stuff. It's the exact same. It's almost like a pandemic hit us in two ways. Like, we have this virus that hits, and then all of a sudden, all these companies are just infected with this now. Oh, we can make money without actually putting in the same amount of effort.
Yeah, same thing with movies. I mean, now they everything goes digital. I mean, they still do release stuff in the theater, but it also will go to like Warner Brothers just signed up with HBO Max, so everything that,
Right.
The majority of stuff you see in the theaters are also going to be on the streaming services. So
Yeah.
and I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't think are going to really return. I mean, movies are kind of back, but who knows if they'll survive or not? Because
time will tell.
Yeah, but
and I hope it doesn't affect games, but it looks like it is. Because, as you said, Sony didn't show up. They're like, oh, we're just going to do our own like weird digital thing.
Yeah, I don't think. Nah, so many things are going to change.
Much, though. I mean, they're still going to... That I don't mind too much, because they're still announcing stuff and all that. But
yeah,
it's just going to be their own thing. It's just going to be split. And it's not all in one event, which sucks,
which I kind of miss. But, that's... I guess this is going to be E3 in the future. I just thought it was fine, but I guess we'll probably call it there. That was pretty much all there really is to say about E3 2021. Obviously, I'll link everything in the description if you guys want to, because there's so many side. Like I said, we could be here literally all night talking about all the individual side games and indie games.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it overall. And then as time goes on, we'll talk about these games individually on future podcasts and whatnot, and elaborate more. I just want to do an overall take on E3, and that was it. Of course, we'll have everything linked in the description. You can check Champ out, his Twitch, and all that will be linked in the description as well. And you'll obviously be seeing both these guys on here more, on my streams more in the future, And of course, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I know back when I used to stream almost every day, everyone always, would say something like, I'm sorry I don't have money to sub, or they would donate and say like, oh, I'm sorry, like I can't donate more. Which I thought was crazy. I appreciate it because it's very generous, but there are so many free ways you can support people. And just hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button does help a lot. And commenting does help a lot too with the channel. So comment, what was your favorite of E3? What did you hate about E3? What did you love about E3? What was your favorite conference? Let us know in the comments below. And also sharing this video helps too. So I do greatly appreciate it. You check out my socials and all that in the link below. I'll be back on twitch.tv/TheCavityKing August 1st of this year. And I haven't really done much content lately. I've been focusing a lot on my political account, which is actually going a lot better than I thought it was going to go. But you guys can check all that out, and I'll link everything below. And that's really it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Check us out on episode 4, which will be hopefully next week. Usually it's a week or two before I upload the next episodes, but that is it. You can also find us on Anchor. I'll link that below. And you can catch us on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. If you want to listen to the audio-only versions, assuming you're watching it on YouTube right now. But anyways, thanks, everybody, listening. It was fun. It was a good time. And we'll see you next time. Cavity Kingdom Podcast.
Bye.